Right, welcome back to AFTV. Arsenal drawn 1-1 with Nürnberg in our first friendly, Robbie. Our first live friendly, because wasn't there like a Watford 1-1 behind closed doors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two games, no wins.
What do you make of it? Are we in trouble?
No, we're not in trouble. It's a friendly, isn't it? I mean, everyone's saying it. And my motto with friendlies always is, if we win them, don't get too carried away. And if we lose them, don't get too carried away, because they don't really... The result doesn't matter. There's loads of players being changed around. There's loads of players being played in out of position. However, I was a bit disappointed because there's been a lot of fanfare. I mean, we've been quite excited because of the transfer window, the business we've done, even though two of those players that, well, they haven't even announced it, but they didn't play. But because of that fanfare, you know, I mean, some of the sort of players that were involved in that fanfare, like Havertz, you know, didn't really show. Balogun, we all said, oh, Balogun's coming back. I mean, 21 goals in France. He was really disappointing, missed two absolute sitters in the game. It made it seem a bit of an anticlimax. The one person that's the constant with this team that always performs is Saka. And he did it again today. I mean, once he cuts in like that, you know what he's going to do. And he scored a goal today. But I'm just disappointed that we didn't win the game. I felt that, you know, Nürnberg weren't a great side. Should have put it to bed earlier. Didn't. I remember on the stream, Julian was saying 1-0, you know, you're not out of the woods yet with the game. And so it proved. And the keeper, Hein, he looked so... I mean, listen, I think as a young goalkeeper, you make the first mistake. That's a bad one. It almost reminded like a De Gea type mistake, right? Once you make that sort of mistake, I mean, you're a bag of nerves. He then had a shot where he just palmed it back into he had an absolute nightmare. But listen, we're not going to get carried away. I think we've all said it. We're not going to get carried away because it's only a friendly, but they're going to have to do better than that in the games to come because they'll be facing better opposition. And I just wanted to see a bit more. When Havertz came on, I wanted to see him looking a bit... I don't know, he didn't really get much of the ball, but I wanted to see him go and seeking that ball to really prove to everybody, prove something, you know, but he's got a lot of time to do that, but certainly it was a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I think he was too, but there were positives from that first half, I think. You know, Arsenal, even if it's just an intensity in the press, even if it's just some of the little combinations, I actually agree with what a lot of people here said, that it didn't really amount to many chances. But
first half was good. First half was good for you know, and again, I think the other thing we've got to remember is the first game. You know what I mean? That you've come back after a summer, you've not played in all that time, apart from the training you've done. You haven't played. First game in front of, you know, a decent crowd. Yeah, you know, I mean, you're going to be really, really rusty. But in the first half, we looked in full control of the game. I mean, I don't think they had a shot, Nürnberg. But in the second half, after we made all the changes, particularly in the goalkeeping department, we looked shaky at the back. And, yeah, it was a bit disappointing. But even then, we had chances, and Balogun should have put a couple of those away.
And what's going to be different about the US tour? Because we've got 3 games out there, but he's got to take a select number. You know, we expect the signings to join up. We expect Odegaard to be okay after the injury in the or the knock in the warm up. We expect Martinelli, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu. So there's loads of players that weren't really involved. We expect Havertz to also get game time around those players. That's another key thing. You know, so. You know, with that in mind, going to the US, are you expecting a step up, or is it about gradually building to it?
I think it's about gradually building, because if you remember last year, we weren't that impressive against Nürnberg in that game. I know we won it. Jesus came on in the end and put a bit of gloss on it. We didn't play that great. We looked a bit, you know, rusty in that game as well. Then we went on to the next friendly after that. I think we played
Orlando, wasn't it? We weren't great then.
And we weren't great in that game, but you could see the intensity was stepping up. You could see, and then we played a game against Chelsea, and then like that's when they hit the straps, and then came back, played in Emirates. I think it was Sevilla, and you could see the team look sharp like that. So it's about building up to it. I don't really expect them in the first game to go out there and put a team away 6-0 or whatever. You know what I mean? They've just come back off of holiday. So it is a building process. And that's why I'm not going to be too hard on them. I'm only just saying it from the point of view that because we've had such a good transfer window so far, expectations are really high. We're really excited to see the team play. And I think if Balogun puts away those couple of chances and we win 3-1, we're all saying, oh, look, man, this team, but, you know, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that they got pegged back and it's like a 1-1. Just brings you back down to earth a bit. Reminds you that, you know, don't get ahead of yourself. You know, there's still a lot of work to be done before, you know, the first game of the season. So, you know, it's a little reminder. Put the work in. So maybe it's a good thing that we didn't win the game and you know, we didn't get out there and thrash the team. It's a bit like in, you see it all the time with boxers. Sometimes when a boxer's going for a world title fight and they have a couple of little warm-up fights, and a fighter, they'll be fighting against a fighter that everyone's expecting them to knock out, and they go like the distance. And they'll be like, well, you know what? I'm glad I went the distance because there's certain things I needed to brush up on and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit like this situation in this game. Okay,
well, let's hope so. And just quickly, two youngsters, Lewis Skelly and Nrnberg, came on, both impressive. You mentioned that Balogun chance. That came from a really great ball from Lewis Skelly. Nrnberg twisting and turning everywhere.
He was good.
This Arsenal Academy, again, continues to produce some real talent.
Yeah, and that's why they pulled out all the stops to hold on to Nrnberg because, you know, you can see, you know, he's 16. You know what I mean? I mean, he should have been maybe in bed before the end of the game. You know what I mean? So really impressive by him. I really like the look of him. And yeah, listen, the future is bright. The future is bright.
There we go. We'll end on that. The future is bright.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.